the webinar. My name is Adi. I've been with Rently for about 3 years, and so Sahil and I have been working together quite a lot to reduce scams, to protect all your assets, and protect renters as well. So welcome everybody. I'll hand it over to Sahil.
Yeah, absolutely. On the same note, welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join this webinar. This is going to be super fruitful, lots of information here. I'm Sal Faruqi. I'm the Director of Business Operation here at Rently. I've been with the company since 2017. I work very closely with Adi when it comes to product developments, security features, and many more things. So very, very excited to have Adi join this webinar with me. So let's kick it off. Really quickly, I want to go over what Rently is all about. I know some of you might be familiar with it, but anyone new that's joining us now and not so familiar with Rently, we are pioneers in self-guided tours. We support single family and multifamily, as well as the BTR space and many other verticals as well. Not only do we are pioneers for self-guided tours, we also have a suite of smart home products that actually help mitigate squatters, protect the assets, and many more things as well, which we will go into in our third series of the webinar. So I'm really excited for everyone to join us here, and let's kick it off into our third slide here. So Adi, I really wanted to kind of give you a chance here to really talk about the philosophy behind coming up with security features. What have you heard on the ground? And particularly also, what did you do in terms of developing these features? How much feedback were you able to gather from the property managers?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sahil. So something that's been happening really frequently is social engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's in this day and age, all listings are available online. You go to any website, you can see the address. A scammer can easily go into any website, copy paste these listings, and post them in Facebook, Craigslist, or anywhere else. Right, posing as a real property manager. And so what they do is, if a listing, for example, in Los Angeles is actually $3,000, so they're going to reduce the price to $2,000 and post them on Facebook and Craigslist, saying, "Hey, I am the property manager. I'm going to give you a discount." So what happens is renters get lured in with these offers, and they believe it is true. They start communicating with the property manager, thinking it's the property manager. So they end up scheduling a tour. So the prospect schedules a tour, they view the property, and then they sign a fake lease with the scammer. Right? They think it's all real. And the scammer keeps telling them, "Hey, I'm not available here. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
in the country right now, or I'm out for work." And they end up believing everything, and every transaction that's happening is through Cash App, online, or Zelle. And so after that, they sign a fake lease, and they end up becoming squatters. So in turn, like the squatter problem has become like it's grown a lot in the United States in the last year. So
Yeah.
we at Rently, with this webinar itself, we're trying to power the most secure self-guided tours. So we'll be talking about something that we've been working on to tackle all of these problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a great pleasure working with Adi on this. I mean, I've heard some crazy stories working with our property managers. One time there was someone who had, gone inside a house and ripped out the copper piping so that they can go and sell it. So people go to certain lengths to really abuse the property. And here at Rently, we're all about protecting our property managers, optimizing their operations while supporting self-guided tours, and at the same time making sure that every prospect that's entering the platform is a good actor, is a good person by vetting them, and many more things. Adi, as you develop these features, how did you make sure that these features are scalable so that it actually can be used from SMB clients to growth clients as well as institutional operators?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've given the opportunity. So we have a portal within Rently. So every client has access to that specific portal. So a client is able to use all of these features, like in under our security, um, for free, right? At this point, so they're able to use all of these features for free. And so it's very easily accessible. They can control anything that's control these features, and they can customize it to based on what they see, right? So whatever they see in the market, they can customize these features. They can control how many showings a prospect does. So there's a lot of control that the property managers have to make sure, like, so based on what they see in the market, they're able to control and customize the features based on what they see.
Yeah, I
um,
think the two keywords here is control and customize, right? Because with property managers, we understand that these are your leads. Each market is going to have a different behavior of scam trends. So giving you the control, giving you the agileness of customizing to your needs, to your markets, is how we have tried to scale this product altogether. And that kind of goes into what we've been talking about in the earlier slide as well, that there are all types of scams. I think earlier Adi mentioned about social engineering scams to squatters. We have also seen scams where people go ahead and steal appliances if they are not successful in luring someone in to go and squat at the property. Maybe they opt in for wired money scams, right? So we are seeing that in the rental space, the scam trends have really ticked up recently here. As you can see on your slide, 5.2 million renters have been impacted by rental fraud. 1 in 3 renter have lost over at least 1K of rentals, money in scams. So there's always something new that's coming up with scammers, because what I have learned on the field is that sometimes scammers are dedicated full-time. That's their full-time job. So how do we at Rently mitigate that? How do we at Rently keep ourselves in an innovative space to make sure that we are 3 steps ahead of the scammer as they are evolving their tactics as well? Adi, anything you want to add here?
No, I think you got it all. Definitely the trends have been increasing significantly, I would say, since 2020,
Hmm.
2021.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going upwards. And like, um, it's really sad to see some renters getting scammed and like wiring a lot of money in the recent times. But yeah, we're here to help you all out to mitigate all of these potential problems.
So it's that leads it to our first poll question. Has your company seen an increase in rental fraud over the past 2 years? Answers could be yes, no, I don't know. We'll give you a minute to put in your answers, and Adi will be able to let us know what the participants decided. I think we might be getting our answers now. Adi, do you have the results so far, or should we give it another couple of seconds?
Maybe if you don't mind giving another minute, I think we should get more responses.
Got it.
So we actually see a 50-50. So a few people have said yes, some of them have said no. So it's 50-50. So some of you all are not experiencing any scams. So I'm sure you all are. You want to know what's even happening so that it doesn't happen to you all in the future. So it's better to be um, safe than sorry later, right? So better late than never. So definitely it's about 50-50 right now.
Got it. And always you can feel free to contact us after the webinar. We're happy to hear about your cases, what type of scams, or maybe not in your area as of right now, so we can better educate you and the do's and the don'ts. And then that leads to our first iteration on security here at Rently. We really wanted to make sure that the verification process is really spruced up when we allow users to create their account. And one of the things that we do in order to make sure that your identity is authentic is we ask the users to upload their ID, as well as the selfie and the credit card. And these uploads are done in seconds. It's a very intuitive process that kind of leads the prospect from one page to another, holding their hand, letting them know what to expect when it comes to that verification. But it's very crucial for our property managers and to protect their assets, to make sure that we are authenticating every user. We are making sure that we are using a digital system platform to make sure that these IDs are authentic, that they are not fake IDs. And we're also matching the selfie to the picture on the ID. Again, like I mentioned, this is all done in seconds so that there is no lag on the user's side. And then we also do the credit card check. We want to make sure this is not a prepaid card. We want to make sure that there's sufficient funds. Also want to make sure that this card is not reported stolen. I believe these three layers are the starting point to make sure that the verification is done in a correct manner, and the fact that these leads are being authenticated before they're allowed to enter the property manager's property. And wonderful thing that Adi and his product team and the development team really built it for our property managers is that within the manager portal, now you can actually retrieve those IDs, selfies, credit card, that's been uploaded in the system. Not only you can retrieve them, but as you can see in the screenshot here, it will also let you know at what point did the ID, selfie, and the credit card got verified or not. So obviously, if I see a lead that did not verify the selfie or the ID or even the credit card or all three of them together, that's a bad lead. That was probably not allowed to enter the platform, but we still give you that information within the manager portal. And all of this information is available for free to our property managers. We believe that this is one of the crucial basic needs that a property manager has when it comes to making sure that this is a strong lead that they want to work with within the manager portal. So we want to be not only transparent, we want to also set up the property manager up with success to make sure that, hey, follow up with the leads that have been verified and don't follow up with the leads that have not really passed the basic check of the ID, selfie, and the credit card. Adi, anything you want to add here on these three checks? I know your dev team worked a long time to make sure that this is a good process within the manager portal.
No, I think you got everything covered.
All right. So we'll move on to our next slide.
All right. So we were talking about social engineering scams initially. So when a renter is going to be scheduling a tour, right? So that's when we are trying to help them out to understand that they might be dealing with a scammer, right? So someone has told me, hey, go to this website and just schedule your tour. I'm actually the property manager. You can just go. Don't ignore the price that you see, right? It might say 3,000, but I'm going to be giving you a discount. So just ignore the price. Just go to this website, go to a listing website or even maybe rently.com and schedule your tour, right? So I'm going to be coming into the website and I'm going to try to be scheduling my tour. So that's when we are trying to target and ensure that the renters are being educated on potential scams that might be happening, right? So we've come up with a few features here. So something called property manager verification. So I'm communicating back and forth. So I might be texting, I might be talking to this person. Maybe this person's using a Google Voice number, so he's just texting me all the time. So what happens is I'm going to be answering a few questions, right? So that's being set by the property managers. So imagine you have a question saying, hey, did you find this property on Facebook or Craigslist? Did you talk to someone who claimed to be the property manager? Or we can even ask them, hey, are you, are they trying to ask you to wire any money to them? Right, so you can ask how many other questions, as decided by you, to ensure that the prospect is starts questioning themselves. Right, so they're going to be starting to question themselves, hey, something is fishy here. Right, so why are these questions being even asked of me? Right, so let me answer these questions to the best of my abilities. And like sometimes in certain cases, the scammer is also going to tell them that, hey, say no to this question, say you're not talking to anybody. Right, don't say yes. So at that point, the prospect, me as the prospect, I'm going to feel like, okay, I am at risk of getting scammed, possibly. Let me actually give the true response here. So once I give the true response, so what will happen is we will let the prospect know that they are at risk of getting scammed. They might be at risk of getting scammed. Let's verify if you're actually talking to the real property manager, right?
Mhm.
So we at Rently, we have we have all our agents numbers stored. So what we do is we have the prospect enter the phone number. So the scammer that I'm actually messaging back and forth, so I'm going to be entering the phone number. If it's actually a real agent, maybe a real agent actually told me that, hey, you just go create an account and schedule your tour. That's about it. So I will be able to see that, oh, this is actually a verified Rently property manager, and this is the name of the property management company, and this is who you're talking to at this point. So feel free to schedule your tour with confidence. But if I'm actually talking to a real scammer, so that person's number is not going to be existing in our system, right? We would never have that phone number, and we will be able to immediately flag to the renter that you are dealing with a scammer, right? So please stop communication with them, and do not engage with them. So we also give them an opportunity to file a report, or give your actual contact information, give the actual property manager's contact information, just so that they can call and verify if they're actually talking to a real property manager or not. So that case, so they become more aware of what's happening, and then decide what to do next. So this has been helping a lot of our clients to mitigate a lot of social engineering scams, in the past few months. So this is a feature that we've been having, for a while right now, and this has been very helpful to make sure that your renters are educated on scams prior to actually touring your property. Sahil, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you hit all the points. I think what we want to do is that for those gullible users who have been influenced by scammers, this system seamlessly will be able to set you up with success with a verified manager, letting you know that, hey, this is the person that you should be getting in touch with if you want to end up renting the property. And we've seen in the field a lot of our property managers really adopting to this solution and finding great results, especially at the busy months that we are in right now.
All right. So imagine I'm answering a certain set of pre-screening questions, again set up by you. Like, did you find the property on Facebook, Marketplace, or Craigslist? And I answer like all of your pre-screening questions, right? Maybe you don't want the prospect to tour your property knowing that the prospect is at risk of getting scammed, right? Maybe you want to communicate with them, or you want them to call you, so that just to make sure that you're able to communicate directly with them, or via call or via email, that you're the real property manager, and educate them, right? Maybe you're a bit worried that this guy might actually get scammed and be a squatter at your property. So you want to double check, double confirm with the prospect, and let them know that, hey, do not communicate with anyone else. I'm your property manager. I'm going to approve your showing right now. So please do not proceed any further communication. So this is going to start giving you a little bit more control of who's entering your properties. Like if someone's at risk of entering your property, you'll be able to control if that person enters your property or not, right? So any other prospects who are not at risk of like getting scammed will be able to enter your properties without any issues. So you wouldn't have to communicate with them, based on all the responses to the pre-screening questions. We will just allow them to directly do a self-guided tour. But if not, you can also decide to verify every lead manually, before you allow them to enter your properties. Yes, we do understand that this might be a little bit tedious in the leasing process, But some clients inherently have adopted this feature just to make sure that they're communicating with the lead, even prior to a showing, and they also communicate with the lead after the showing. So it helps a little bit with lead nurturing as well.
Yeah, it could be tedious, but at the same time, I think a lot of property managers really appreciate that they have the pulse of who is going in and out of the property. I think there are two things to remember here, something that we addressed early on, which is the customization. The pre-screening question lets you do that. And also the fact that scam trends are always evolving. So through this customization of the pre-screening questions, you can actually address those trending scams and really let the prospect know the do's and don'ts before they're given access to the property.
Thank you, Sahil. So the third one is scam awareness quiz. I think I would probably say this is the lightest on the prospect as well. So they're going to be answering the set of pre-screening questions, and once we find out that they're at risk of getting scammed, they can actually go through some few other questions that are actually set up by you. So if you take a look at the UI right here that you see on your screen, it's a bit easy on the prospect. It's basically a quiz that they're going to be undergoing just to evaluate if they even know what rental scams are about, right? So sometimes prospects tend to be very confident that they may never get scammed. So there are such prospects who actually end up getting scammed, thinking that they know everything, they know how the world is like, and they trust everybody that they talk to, right? So there is a bit of overconfidence. But once they go through this quiz, right? Once they go through this quiz that you've set up, right? Even Rentley has set up a quiz on our own, right? So if you tend to use our quiz, there are many prospects who end up giving incorrect responses to our questions. So it's a set of three questions. They end up giving some incorrect responses. So that plays with their mind, right? So we also let them know that, okay, these are the set of correct responses, and this is what you should be doing. So please make sure that you do not communicate with anyone. Don't assume that the discount that you see in other social, any other websites is actually even genuine, right? So we try to make them aware, scam aware, just to ensure that they do not get scammed by this particular scammer that they're talking to, right? So they answer these set of three pre-screening questions. They get educated based on all of their answers. They get educated, and then we allow them to schedule their tour, right? So this is an easy quiz that they have to just undergo, but they're very likely to give incorrect responses as per what we have done before, as per our testing and what we have been seeing internally inherently. And so that kind of makes them aware, like, oh no, I might have been at risk of getting scammed. I got this incorrect, right? So it plays with the, like, it plays with the psychology here, right? Psychologically, you're like, okay, I will not get scammed. But once you answer these
Mhm.
questions and you give incorrect responses, you're like, oh no, I need to be a little bit careful, right? It kinds of brings into the forefront of the prospect's brain that, okay, I might be at risk here, so let me be a little bit careful, right? So that's what we're trying to do here, just to bring scams to the forefront of their brain.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add here, I think earlier what Adi addressed with the fact that you answer a couple of questions wrong and the property manager has to manually give access to the prospect. This one is a little bit more optimized version of that, where the prospect still gets educated on what's going on. Again, these questions are completely customizable to the property manager's need, and if they do end up answering wrong, they get educated further and still have access to the property. So one solution gives you the pulse, the property manager, of who's going in and out of your property because you're giving them access. The other solution really optimizes your operation where people still get educated and then they go ahead and gain access to your property. This leads it to our second poll question. What type of rental fraud have you experienced? Fake landlord scams, fake renter identities, fake application documents, squatters, vandalism, and theft. We'll give you a minute or two to answer this poll question.
All right. We have a few responses here, Sahil. Some of them are experiencing fake landlord scams, which is about 50% of them, and 50% of them are experiencing vandalism and theft. So these are the two different types of scams that they've been experiencing in their properties.
Yeah. And fake landlord scams, I would say, is a direct attack, what we like to call social engineering scams, where someone kind of lures in a gullible person, lets them know, hey, still do these tours, but I'm the landlord who I should be in touch with. And vandalism and theft is something that, we want to make sure that we authenticate every prospect that enters the platform so that they don't end up becoming a bad actor and stealing appliances at the property. So thank you so much for those questions and answers. And this leads it to, how do we, mitigate squatters and particularly vandalism and theft at your properties, and one way that we can do about it is really make sure that at the top of the funnel, any renter that is entering the platform is verified, is has their ID selfie, goes through these amazing security features that Adi just described. But once they enter the property, or if there is a break-in at the property, I do believe that combining those security features with the smart home products that we have is the ultimate answer when it comes to really mitigating squatters, vandalism, and theft, and other things like that. Now you have the opportunity to really, with the sensors, the window sensors, the sirens that we even now have indoor cameras. You can really tell that, like, hey, there's an individual there that's not supposed to be there. We want to make sure that individuals who are given the code is only a one-time code, right? And that it expires within a certain time range, so that we make sure that this person doesn't memorize the code and starts giving it out to individuals or keep going to the property over and over again, right? And I think what we have seen also is that when we have intruders, break-ins, they try to fiddle with the smart lock that is on the door. They try to fiddle with the hub by unplugging it. So now you have those alerts be sent to your manager portal so that you can take quicker actions. And we've seen this to be a game changer when you combine this smart home technology with what Adi mentioned at the top of the funnel, with security features, to be the really true solution when it comes to really mitigating scams here. Any thoughts you on this, Adi, you want to add?
So just one thing I just wanted to add is, like, as soon as someone, like a scammer, is tampering with the lock or the hub, like Sahil mentioned, like if someone's removing the hub and the lock loses its connection with the hub, or vice versa happens, if the
Mhm.
lock has been, tampered with, they're trying to fiddle and do something with the lock, Rentley will immediately know that there's something wrong happening at the property. So we will be able to send you that, kind of a red alert immediately that something wrong is happening in the property, and just to ensure that it's checked out, right? So there could be a potential squatter trying to get into the property, at that point, just to replace the lock or do something at the property, something wrong at the property, right? So we want to immediately send you an alert as soon as this happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of leads into our notification feature that the product and the development team really worked on, is like, how does the property manager get those notifications? Well, as you can see on your screen, there are multiple categories of scams. There are multiple scenarios that could happen to your prospects when they are trying to gain entrance to your property. If they show up at the property and they're using our basic feature, which is our lockbox with the physical key, and that goes missing, or if they open the door and they see that someone has disrupted the property, now you can actually get those notifications in real time in your email inbox. Not only will you be able to get those notifications in real time, you can actually go into the platform here in the manager portal and decide which team member should be getting which type of notification, right? And I've heard so many stories from our property managers where, like, hey, there was a theft at my property, or there was someone living at my property and I had no idea they had been living there for a week. And if I had just gotten a real-time notification at the very beginning from a prospect, trying to tour my property, then I would have taken actions quicker. The more the squatter spends time at your property, the more disruptive they're going to be, and it's going to be harder for you to get the squatter out of the property. So I truly believe that this is a great feature that I'm really excited about, that the property manager now gets a real-time notification on, okay, there's someone there. I've assigned X team member to really take care of this information, this business. Let me send someone out to go see if everything is kosher at the property. I think the quicker we can send alerts, the quicker the property manager is able to take actions, is how we make sure that there's less and less damage at your property. So very excited about this feature. Adi, anything you want to add here? I know you're the one who built this.
Not really, Sahil. I think you covered everything.
All right, great. One thing else that we are really excited about, again, kind of shifting focus to at the top of the funnel, something that Adi addressed at the beginning of the webinar is, we've also seen that there's been a lot of fake listings. People are taking listings from Zillow, apartments.com, sometimes from rently.com, or just any other syndicated sites, and really manipulating those listings, changing the rental price, changing the contact information, sometimes changing the pictures, and putting them on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, so on and so forth. Right. So we are really working on collaborating with Property Shield to make sure that this solution of taking down fake listings at these various sites is available to all our property managers. Something that's really been very exciting on the product side is like, how do we help at the top of the funnel where the scam really starts? And where does it start? It starts with the fake listings. People get lured in because now they're seeing a price point that is unbelievable for that neighborhood. It's so good. How can they not act upon it? And if they act upon it, they're already part of the scam, right? So Property Shield, with collaboration with Rently, will make sure that, hey, we're taking down these fake listings in real time. And even if these listings keep popping up, and I'm excited for this partnership with Rently to make sure that we continue to provide security solutions to our property managers, and we continue to protect their assets. Adi, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, just something really quickly. So the listings are taken out within 24 hours, right? So in some websites it's done within minutes, and in some websites it takes about 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Craigslist and Facebook we've identified is, I would say, the biggest source of scams. And so that's done in minutes, like within 10-15 minutes after a
Mm-hmm.
fake listing is identified. They are removed from the website itself, right? So if it keeps popping up, they will keep getting removed as well at some like once it's identified. And so this feature is available in towards the end of summer 2024. So we at Trently are really excited about this, to address the top of the funnel where the scammer is actually copying listings and posting them on other websites.
Absolutely. And this brings it to our end of series two for the webinar. We have another one, part three, coming up on July 24th. Love for you all who are participating today to join us as well. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into, what are the other features that we have built, such as our risk scoring model, our proactive bad actor model, to make sure that we continue to protect your assets, particularly with the subjects around squatter and vandalism, which is what we saw in the poll today. So really excited about kicking off the part 3 as well. And don't forget to check out our first part 1 on the security webinar series that was hosted by Adi and Anthony Williams. So that was more on at the top of the funnel. What else are we doing to protect our prospects? How are we enhancing those prospects to be the good leads before they are allowed to enter the platform and again gain entrance to your property. So really good stuff there as well. It would be great if you could check that out and also join us for our July 24th part 3 for the security webinar series. And then that's it. That's the end of our presentation, our webinar today. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I mentioned earlier, feel free to contact us, Sahil at rently.com, Aditya at rently.com. Very easy. We're going to be available to you, talk to you more in details on these solutions that we just presented on, and anything else that's on your mind when it comes to scams and scam trends that you've seen in your local area. Adi, again, thank you so much for joining. We might want to give a minute for any questions or comments. Since I'm sharing, I'm not going to be able to see that. So if you do, please let us know.
Yes, feel free to type in all your questions here. So we'll be here for a few minutes to address any questions that you all might have.